Welcome to Kitchen Magic with Brandy. So tonight we are going to do a bit of a fancy dinner. This is a 3 rib roast. It's about 4.5 pounds. It's going to take you probably about 3 hours to prepare it, but you want to take it out about an hour before so that you can bring it up to room temperature, and you want to go ahead and season it so that it's like absorbing and soaking in all of that yumminess. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to open our prime rib, of course, get it out on our board and ready to go. See, look at how beautiful this piece of meat is. See, it's a 3 rib roast, but isn't that a beautiful cut of meat? So, and we are going to use beef stock. We're going to use our Uncle Chris's steak seasoning. You could use whatever steak seasoning you like. I personally like Uncle Chris's. And we are going to use our hickory liquid smoke. All right, so we're going to need for our rub, we're going to need to go with about a tablespoon of our beef stock. You're going to want to do probably 2 tablespoons of your favorite steak seasoning. So a 2-to-1 ratio. And then of course we have our liquid smokes. The first thing we're going to do is we are actually going to coat this entire thing and rub it down with this liquid smoke. Make sure it gets a really generous rub down on all sides. All right, we're going to take our seasoning mixture. Should use that. Make sure it's mixed up really well. And we're going to generously pat that on because we want that seasoning mixture to be pretty thick. So we want to create a beautiful crust on this prime rib. We are making this prime rib in the oven, so that is the reason why we are using the liquid smoke. We're not going to put it out on the smoker today. It's 105 degrees outside, and I honestly just don't feel like babysitting it. So, all right, we're just going to let it sit here about an hour and soak up all of those wonderful seasonings, and then we are going to put it in the oven on 500 degrees. You want to preheat your oven. In about an hour, preheat your oven to 500 degrees. We're going to put it in the oven on 500 degrees for 15 minutes, and then you are going to lower that down to 275, and you're going to keep it in the oven on 275 for about 10 minutes per pound. And then you're going to check your temperature and see where you are. And depending on how you like your steak, our family likes it medium rare. We'll probably be pretty close to temp at that point. If you prefer it more to be a medium well or well done, then obviously you're going to have to allot for a bit more time. Medium well to well done usually takes about 15 minutes per pound. Our edges are sitting at medium rare, so I want to go ahead and take it out, because I can always bring the temperature up, but I certainly can't take it back down. Set it here. We're going to go ahead and up our heat to 350. We're going to leave this over here and let it rest and do its thing. And we're going to start our asparagus. Okay, so for today's prime rib, we're actually going to do steak Oscar, which means that we are going to do some crab meat on top of our pieces of prime rib and a beautiful silky Béarnaise sauce over the top of that. So I'm going to show you how to make your Béarnaise. The first thing we need to do is we need to melt 2 sticks of butter, because you need a cup of melted butter. Now I'm using salted butter, so I'm not adding salt to the recipe. If you do not use salted butter, then you're going to need to add a teaspoon of salt into your recipe. All right, so we need a cup of butter. It's gonna be 2 sticks. We want that to melt down really well. Now while that's melting down, we're gonna mix up the rest of our ingredients with our blender. Okay, so for this, we're going to need 3 egg yolks. You want yolks only. 2 tablespoons of shallots, diced up. You're going to want a tablespoon of parsley. You're going to want a tablespoon of tarragon. You're going to want a tablespoon of a dry white wine or a white cooking wine. As well as a white wine vinegar. A tablespoon of that one also. And then the recipe calls for a teaspoon of black pepper. As you know, we don't use black pepper in this house because we have a kiddo with allergies to it. So we're going to use about a teaspoon of white pepper. And then we just want to blend all this down. Alright, so our butter is super hot and nice and melted. So now we're going to take it over here and we're going to add it into our mixture very, very slowly. So we want to temper this. We don't want to cook those eggs. See how silky that sauce is? Okay, so now we're going to put our Béarnaise back on the stove. I know my Béarnaise sauce is kind of green. It's because I use fresh parsley. I just love fresh parsley. If you use the dried parsley though, your Béarnaise sauce won't be as green. Alright guys, we want this to be at least 145. And we are there. Alright, perfect. And then we have canned crab meat, which has been drained. You've got to be careful with canned crab meat because it has paper in it that has to be removed. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is we are going to remove our prime rib from its bones. We're just going to run along the bones here. And try to get as close as possible. There we go. Look how pretty that prime rib is. Cut into that. My husband loves the end piece, so definitely going to make sure we save this beautiful end piece for him. But look at how beautiful that prime rib is. Now we will get everything plated up for you and we will show you the end results. I hope you enjoy your fancy dinner.